Welcome to another episode of Business Highlight. My name is Pedro, and in Business Highlight, we talk to local business professionals about their business and their companies and introduce them to our viewers. Before we get started, make sure to follow us on YouTube. It's Boca Raton Tribune.tv or Boca Tribune.tv. Sorry. Head over to Boca Tribune.tv and subscribe to our channel. Today, we're speaking with Rafael Salles, a partner at Turnkey International Management. Rafael, thank you so much for joining us today, and how are you?
Fine, thank you, Pedro. Nice to meet you, and it's an honor to be in your program. Thank you very much.
Of course, it was great to have you. I'm excited to learn more about what Turnkey does, and just to get started, introduce yourself to our audience, what you do, and how long you've been here, and things like that.
Great. Well, my name is Rafael Salles. I'm a civil engineer. I graduated in Brazil. In my last year of engineer, I took in France. So France was the first opportunity that I had to live outside of Brazil. And living in the US today is my fifth country. So I lived in France, Brazil, Oman, Malaysia, and the United States. So when I arrived in the United States in 2013, I came here to do an MBA at Florida Atlantic University. And during that time, my family and we decided to stay. I applied for a green card. I was granted a green card, and I started my career here. At that time, I was approached by Octavio Cardoso, that is my partner in Turnkey, and we started Turnkey. So I have a background of working in big constructions, like constructions over $1 billion that we call mega constructions. I worked for constructions of ports, pipelines, mining, roads, and more related to infrastructure. So my core business is project management, and for complex like environments as like huge constructions, we control, we plan and organize everything in the construction to get the construction done. So these mindset of projects train me to understand it, to try to everything for me is a project. Like when you bring companies, we're going to talk this later, but when you bring companies from Brazil, I see as a project. So we need to know the scope, we need to plan, and we need to implement and control the implementation. So I have the phase of the project. I do that in my life for almost everything.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about Turnkey International Management. What is it that the company does? How long has it been around? Things like that.
Turnkey started in 2016. Octavio Cardoso and we decided to open the company to focus on the Brazilian business and entrepreneurs that are moving from Brazil to the United States. So using my experience in project management and my MBA, and Octavio also has he's graduating business and has an MBA. Octavio he was born in Brazil, but he's in the US for almost 40 years.
Wow.
So bringing this Octavio and I together, we could like have the knowledge and the experience, and we have also our network and Octavio network that is fantastic to help business to land here and thrive in the West. So we started Turnkey aiming to bring business here. So we help it with strategic planning, and this is our strong point because it's a very different country when compared to Brazil. The way that we do business there, the culture of business there, the market. When we bring it here, we face a lot of different situations that we need to assess. So Turnkey was created to help this Brazilian business community and the entrepreneurs to come to the US.
What are some of these differences? Like you mentioned, there are differences between business differences between Brazil and the US. Well, what are some of those differences?
This is a great question. Like every place is different. Like I live in 3 different continents and 5 countries. So every time I learn about like the importance of the culture. When I was working for Arcadis, that is a multinational company, and doing like project management, we were doing a project for Vale, that is a huge mining company in Oman. And the first thing that I need to do when I arrived in Oman was a culture training. So I need to learn how they behave,
Mm-hmm.
who they are, how they do business, how they talk to each other. And I started doing that. And even in Brazil, when I was working with arcades in Brazil, I was sent to a small town to do huge infrastructure projects. And so we had like a lot of employees, a lot of big company arriving in a small town. We need
Mm-hmm.
to understand the culture in the town. Like I lived in a city in Brazil, a very small city, that we don't have traffic lights. And I saw some of my employees from my team saying that it was complicated to drive there because people just cross in front of the cars. They don't pay attention. And then I said, but you are in their cities. You need to understand the rules here, and you
Right.
need that. So when you bring companies from Brazil here, we have like here that we start a company is very easy compared to Brazil. So Brazil is very bureaucratic and is expensive. I was talking to a lawyer in Brazil, and you can pay like $4,000 to start a company in 4,000 reais,
Mm-hmm.
about $800 to start a company in Brazil. The currency is not favorable now for Brazilians, but when you come here, you can open a company very quickly. But the market is different. Is different. The people like this machine here is driven by consumer. People buy a lot. And we have a lot of small business. 99% of the business in the United States, according to Small Business Administration, are small businesses.
Mm.
So they are very entrepreneurial. The competition here is huge. It's not compared to Brazil. And like when you talk about restaurants, like the profit margin in Brazil is much higher than the profit margin here. So when they do the plan to bring a restaurant here,
Mm-hmm.
they have to understand that the competition here is huge, and you cannot put in a plan the same profit margin that you have in Brazil. So
Oh, okay.
how about some difference that we need to address
Yeah.
when companies are migrating here?
Yeah. So talking a little bit about Turnkey, I heard that you guys recently signed an agreement with the research park at FAU. Can you tell us a little bit more about that partnership and what people can expect from that?
Research Park at FAU is an amazing organization, and its CEO Andrew Duffel is a great person and leader in our community. And um, just to explain the structure there, Research Park at FAU is a company that belongs to the government of Florida. It doesn't belong to the Florida Atlantic University.
Okay.
Florida Atlantic University is another company that belongs to the government of Florida. The research park operates independent of the FAU, but with a great interaction.
Got it.
So they use the FAU campus, and they have like a lot of great partnerships with the university, with the schools, the labs, the professors, the students, but they are separated from Florida Atlantic University.
Mm-hmm.
And we met Andrew maybe about 5 years ago, and through Octavio, and we start this relationship with them. And first, we signed a memorandum of understanding (MOU) with FAU about 2 years ago, and we started being their partner to be in Brazil looking for companies to bring to the research park.
Oh, okay.
And because this memorandum of understanding worked so well between the two parties, research park and turnkey, we
Mm-hmm.
transformed that in an agreement, an official agreement, and we signed an agreement in January of this year. And now we are turnkey, the official representative of the research park at FAU in Brazil.
Oh, wow.
So we went to Brazil in 2019 uh, at FutureCom. That is the biggest, the largest uh, technology event in the South America.
Mm-hmm.
Is in São Paulo. Is for like tech companies, and we we met very interesting companies there, and we start establishing some good relationships. And we show to the research park the potential that Brazil has, that is
Yeah.
amazing. And so they were very interested and enthusiastic about this partnership, and we signed an agreement to them. But it's something that it took time to build.
Uh-huh.
We built this trust that we have today, and we deliver some results to them. We showed we have like a prototype, and so, and now they trust us, and we are working very hard to bring companies in. We had like an article that was published in the Globo. That's a huge journal, news in Brazil,
Yeah.
paper. And then it's been amazing. Like we are just representing the research park in Brazil and looking for technology companies to come in here. And research park is a is the best place for companies to land here, because why the research park exists? They exist to impact the economy of South Florida. They exist to generate employments. So when they evaluate a company, if they can be accepted there or not,
Mm-hmm.
there is an application system.
Right.
In when you submit your application, the strongest case that your company can make is if you are impacting the economy there, if you have a huge potential to grow, if you have
Mm-hmm.
a potential to generate employment. So that's why. So when you bring companies here, we are looking to that, if they
Right.
can impact the economy. So when they select you, if you are approved, we're gonna work for you
Mm-hmm.
to succeed.
Right.
So we have the research part, uh, like on your back, like helping the strategy of the company, introducing like a priceless network.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an amazing place to be.
Yeah. So I guess I guess with that, research park at FAU, like why is Boca or even Florida such an enticing place for people to come and do business in?
Florida is growing a lot. We see like I think 2 years ago, 3 years ago, the GDP was like $900 billion, and we just like crossed the $1 trillion now. We
Mm-hmm.
have like 20 million people living in Florida. Is the fourth economy in the United States, the fourth state in the United States. It was the fifth, so Florida is growing, and uh, like the legislation here helps business. Like we don't pay here income tax as
Right.
person in Florida, the state income tax, just the federal one. So we have a lot of benefits to be here. And Boca
Mm-hmm.
Raton has a very strategic and amazing place to be. First, we have the Florida Atlantic University for technology company, can be a great resource of professors and students to work on your business and to help to develop your product.
Right.
And the Boca Raton is just in the middle of Miami and West Palm Beach. So it's very easy to work with both markets. We have more geographically is very well located.
Mm-hmm.
The environment here, we have a lot of CEOs that like to live here and bring the company here. So
Mm-hmm.
it's an amazing place to be for networking, for the market of Miami, the market of West Palm Beach, or even the United States as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a great place to be.
Yeah. What are some of the companies that Turnkey has helped make the move to the US? Maybe some local ones or some that, things like that.
So we started this partnership looking for universities in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
We had an agreement with university in the south of Brazil, and we signed an MOU between Research Park and this university about 3 years ago. And we understood that the universities in Brazil, even like the public university that belongs to the government in Brazil, they are not the best partners for us to bring companies here. is a lot of bureaucracy in place and takes time. So
Hmm.
we started changing our strategy there and looking for private organizations and other type of education system companies. We helped. The first company we brought here was HBC, that is health building certification, but they started there and they migrate to California.
Hmm.
And the second company, then we restructured the agreement with Research Park and the way we are doing, because Turnkey was also a startup. And we went to Brazil together with the Research Park in 2019 to FutureCamp and another event in Campinas, one event in São
Hmm.
Paulo and another one in Campinas. We are doing a competition to select a company to bring here. So the company that wins the competition would award 6 months in Research Park.
Wow.
And this was a huge success. And the company that won this competition is called Creare. And his CEO, Andre, is very happy with being in Florida Atlantic University. Because of the pandemic, they used the initial planning was to create to come to the United States in the beginning of last year,
Right.
but because of the pandemic, they moved to the end of last year. So they are here for about 3 or 4 months, and they are like very happy with the research park. So
Hmm.
Create is developing a device that we put inside the vehicles that read our the driver's face and gestures and help in the safety of
Wow.
the vehicle. So it's an amazing job. Creare exists in Brazil for like 10 or more years, and they are doing very good in Brazil, and it made a lot of sense to select them. And this is a very great story for FAU. We
Yeah,
have,
that's all.
yeah, we have another company that just to is a very good case for the
Hmm.
Brazilian companies, but was not with us Turnkey at that time. But we have a Brazilian company called Creare. They started here in the US in the research park at Florida Atlantic University about 7 years ago, if I'm not wrong. They are from the south of Brazil, and they come here by themselves.
Hmm.
They develop a great network using the infrastructure of the research park. They started selling their product for Bed Bath and Beyond, Office Depot, among other big companies here. And the, the the successful story of Creare is that they were acquired by a U.S. company about 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And the valuation of Creare at that point was $100 million.
Wow.
So this proves the potential that we have in Brazil.
Hmm.
And the, the the executive of Creare here is Rodrigo Griezzi, and he made an excellent job here.
Yeah. So speaking of like we talked a little bit about how COVID affected that one company coming from Brazil to the US. How has COVID affected Turnkey as a whole last year? And what were some of the ways that you were able to, navigate through that?
This, yeah, talking about COVID was a huge impact
Yeah.
because we need, when we plan and bring the company here, we have two things. First, we travel to Brazil to meet new partners,
Hmm.
and when they are accepted, they need to travel here to implement the business.
Yeah.
Because of the pandemic, the country was closed, and we couldn't travel to Brazil. The Brazilians couldn't travel here.
Yeah.
So this was a huge impact, and this affect the coming of Creare here. They need to postpone from the beginning of last year to the end of the year. But and this is there is nothing that we can do related.
Hmm.
So what we did, in I think all the companies did, is that we are very strong online now. We're using these tools of Zoom and online video conference a lot. We can like have a lot of meetings with Brazil. We already did that before because we are very far away from Brazil. We
Right.
start with Skype, and then we use other tools, but nowadays we are doing that more and talking to the universities and the partners there. But unfortunately, this was a big hit for us.
Yeah. Um, Talk a little bit about your duties as a partner at Turnkey. Like, what are some of your day to day? Like, what do you do for the company, and things like that?
That's a good question. Yeah, like uh, Octavio is more like a hands-on today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the board of Turnkey as a partner too. I help companies that they are coming here. I evaluate their strategies and business plan, and we give some advice to them how we think they should like uh, if they need to change something about the strategies and so on.
Yeah.
And we like participate in the business, thinking about the success of the business.
Mm-hmm.
And just for you to know, we're going to have a video call with Research Park this afternoon about a new company that we selected in Brazil, and
Oh.
we introduce to them. So we have an application link uh, that they can submit applications online. And this link was published in the article that was published in the newspaper in Brazil. So a lot of companies are submit application at this moment,
Mm-hmm.
and we are working with 2 companies at this moment. And so I help to evaluate the strategy and the business plans and develop new strategies and introduce our network,
Mm-hmm.
understand about the scope of their business, what they need to do, the product or service that they are developing or bringing to the US, if we need to do some adaptations or changes in the product or
Yeah.
in the service. And we guide the company. We guide the company with our experience, and we guide the company.
Oh, okay. Before I let you go, I ask this question of everyone. So yours is going to be a little different, but it's connected to business, obviously. But what would be some advice you'd give to someone that was wanting to move their business to a new country?
Great question. Well, my advice is uh, you don't understand about the new country if you visited the country, but you never lived there.
Yeah.
You need to look for help. You can start the company by yourself, but the best way to move here is you can find a partner. You can find a company that needs a partner. This is a
Mm-hmm.
very good way. Or you can have like consultants that understand about the market here to help you to make decisions,
Mm-hmm.
because this is a new environment for the companies coming here, and there are a lot of risks, and you need to make decisions. So when you make decisions without knowing, without having the proper information, like about permits or about the legislation here, uh,
Yeah.
taxes and everything, when you have that, you need to understand that and get information, gather information about that. If you don't have this information, how you can make the decision?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very important, if you have a partner here, to have people that you trust. And nowadays it's easier to go online and search about the reputation of the consultant you want to hire, or the professional you want to hire, or the company you want to be a partner. So do your homework. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you need to be diligent and do the investigation to search about the partnerships you need to build. But don't come by yourself. Don't come alone. Don't think sending an executive from your company here will solve the problem. It's
Right.
not about being here. It's about understanding where you are.
That was good. That's a good point to make. It's not about being here; it's about understanding where you are. It's really good. Rafael, thank you so much for your time talking to us today. Really appreciate you. If you guys have more questions about what Turnkey does, reach out to them via their website. It's right there, turnkeymgt.com. But thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate you coming in.
I thank you, Pedro. Very good talking, and congratulations about your program. Very good.
Thank you. And guys, that's of Business Highlight. Thank you so much for tuning in on our YouTube channel. Again, if you want to follow us, just go to bocatribune.tv, click the subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend.